One of the keys to success in day trading is risking the same dollar amount for every trade you take, because if your risk is random, then that's going to lead to random results. For example, let's run through 10 trades in both scenarios. Let's say you risk $100 for every trade, and your batting average is 50%, meaning you win half the trades you take and lose on the other half. And to keep things simple, let's say you win and lose whatever you put in. Then in this scenario, you would just end up break even. Your total winnings is 500 and losing is 500. But if you risk whatever you feel like, now, even if you bat 50%, it's not going to reflect that in your P&L. Maybe you finish positive, maybe you finish negative. It makes it unpredictable, making it gambling. So by using the same risk amount and share sizing properly, we can better track our performance and makes it a scalable business. And just to clarify, when I say $100 risk, I'm not talking about buying $100 worth of stock. I'm talking about if your trade doesn't work, when it's all said and done, all you lose is $100 on that trade. So before we get into share sizing our trades, the first step is to determine your fixed risk amount. How much should you risk? Well, it depends on your risk tolerance, account size, goals, and your experience. Everybody's risk tolerance is different, so risk whatever you feel comfortable when you see the price fluctuate. If you're risking an amount that makes you nervous and sweat, your emotions will be too attached to the trade, leading to mismanaging it, like getting out too early when it goes in your favor, or getting out too late when it goes against you. This can develop bad habits and isn't good for your trading. And if you're trading with a smaller account size, I'd say trade no more than 1 to 2% of your account. So if you have a $5,000 trading account, I wouldn't risk more than $50 to $100 per trade, so you don't end up blowing up your account. If you start with a go big or go home approach, well, grab your coat because you're probably going home. So treat it as a marathon and not a sprint. And what are your goals? If you're trying to hit 6 figures a year, it will be more difficult with a $50 risk. So if you're trying to make a certain amount, your risk needs to reflect that. But of course, this is given the fact that you're a profitable trader. If you're just a beginner, your risk should be the minimal because your goal isn't to make money. It's to become profitable. And yes, there is a difference. Anybody can throw money into a stock and make money, but not everyone will be able to do it on a consistent basis. That's why it's recommended you start with the lowest amount because most likely you will not be profitable right from the start. When I first started, I risked $50, but if I had zero commissions like we do today, I probably would have started even lower at something like $10. This will minimize your quote-unquote tuition, as traders like to call it, because it's money you'll be losing. Which, by the way, is only true if you're actually learning and improving from those losses. So start with something small, and you can always size up when you're ready. And once you've determined your dollar risk amount, the second and last thing you need to know is your stop size. Stop size is the difference between your entry price and your stop price on a trade. Professional traders always have a plan and predetermine the price we're going to get in and the price we're going to get out. Here's a trade I took in my last video, GFAI. This was a breakout pattern I found on the 2-minute time frame. The trade was to enter in at 138, which is my entry price. And if I get triggered in and it decides to go against me, the plan was to exit the trade at 126 for a loss, which is known as my stop price. And my target was 160, which is where I'm looking to take my profit. Where did I come up with 160? Well, if we move over to the daily chart, our next resistance area off the breakout is around 160. Whenever you play a breakout or a buy setup, your target should be the prior resistance area. So to get our stop size, all we need to do is subtract the entry price and the stop price. So 138 minus 126 equals to 12 cents. So now the question is, how do I know how many shares of GFAI to get for my risk amount? Well, the formula is very simple. You divide your dollar risk by the stop size. So for the purpose of this example, let's use a $50 risk. If we do the math, $50 divided by our stop size of 12 cents, we get 416 shares. So now if I buy 416 shares of GFAI at 138, and if it unfortunately drops down to my stop price of 126, I will only lose $50. And if it works and hits my target at 160, I'll make a little over $90, which is the minimum of what I like to look for, about a 2-to-1 on my risk. Or let's say we want to use a tighter stop at 130, then our stop size would be 8 cents, allowing us to grab 625 shares. but you would have to take your stop at 130 if it goes against you. Now, the cool part about this is it doesn't matter which stock it is. If your stop size is 12 cents, your share size is always 416 shares. If your stop size is 8 cents, it's always 625 shares, as long as you keep your risk at $50. This means that you don't have to pull out your calculator every time, and instead, you can make a pre-calculated sheet like this one to be more efficient with your time. So once I know my stop size, all I have to do is just take a quick look at my sheet to know how many shares I need to get for my risk. Now you can see I don't have one for every possible stop because it's just not necessary. The higher the price of the stock you're trading, the higher your stop size will be, and it's very likely there will be some spread as well. So by accounting for slippage, as long as I'm close to my risk unit, I should be fine. Whereas on the lower price stocks with tighter stops, each penny matters more. Now, I mentioned earlier you can scale up your business, right? So check it out. Once you see that you're profitable and you have a steady income, all you need to do is up your risk. So if you move up your risk to $100, here's the new set of shares you would need per your stop size. And now, given that nothing else changes, you just doubled your income. If you move it up to $500, you just 10 times your bottom line. So again, by having a fixed risk amount, you're able to track your performance and allows you to scale up. Of course, it's not ideal to be making big jumps like these because this goes back to your risk tolerance and you want to build that up slowly. I have worked my way up to a $500 risk, which brings me to my last suggestion I have for you, and that's to just round off your share size. So here's what mine looks like. As you can see, it just makes it much more simple to read, and also it makes it much more simple to put in your orders, especially if you're using hotkeys. So make sure you're share sizing your trades properly. If you found this to be helpful, all I ask is you like the video. If there's anything you want me to clarify, ask your questions in the comments below. Subscribe for more content like this one. As always, I appreciate you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.